My name is Emma, a single mother living in the suburbs of Seattle, USA. My life revolves around my only son, Jack, a lively and intelligent boy. I have tried my best to raise Jack alone after divorcing David, his father. Our marriage ended 5 years ago, following months of tension and incompatibility. David quickly remarried a woman named Melissa. She is much younger than me, beautiful, and exudes a confidence that often made me feel insecure. The worst part is that Melissa never saw me as a part of Jack's life anymore. She tried to replace my position and gradually created a distance between me and my son. I still keep in touch with Jack through calls and visits, always striving to give him the best. But whenever David and Melissa's family show up, I feel like an outsider, an unnecessary person no one wants. Jack's high school graduation day is approaching. I feel excited, nervous, mixed with a bit of worry. I want this moment to be ours, mine and my son's a well-deserved reward for the years I have sacrificed. But, as always, I cannot avoid the tension when I think about Melissa and her family attending. The graduation day arrives. The sun shines gently, and the atmosphere is buzzing with families and friends preparing for the ceremony. I wear my favorite dress, light makeup, and bring the fresh bouquet that Jack likes the most. I arrive early and find a seat among the other parents. But when I look toward the front row, reserved for the families of outstanding students, my heart tightens. David and Melissa's family are sitting there, laughing and chatting happily, their eyes seemingly not sparing a glance for me. They were assigned the front row seats, while I and the other parents were asked to stand at the back. Melissa looks at me with a cold gaze, as if to say I don't belong here. She whispers to David, he doesn't want her here. That sentence rings clearly in my ears, leaving my heart in turmoil. I smile, say nothing, trying to stay calm. I know, no matter how hard they try, the bond between Jack and me cannot be erased. My son is the result of the genuine love I have for him, and that is something no one can replace. When Jack's name is called, I stand up, my eyes fixed on the stage. Jack walks up confidently and proudly. He holds his diploma in his hands, stands before the crowd, and does something I never expected. "This is for the woman who raised me," Jack says loudly, his voice echoing through the hall. All eyes turn to me. Melissa and her family fall silent, stunned and speechless. The crowd, the other parents around me, begin to stand and applaud warmly. My heart bursts with happiness. In that moment, I know that despite all the hardships, I am still Jack's mother, the one who has always been by his side, caring for and loving him unconditionally. I see my son's eyes full of gratitude, love, and sincerity. Melissa looks at me one last time, then turns away, her face full of anger and disappointment. The graduation ceremony ends, but that moment will forever remain in my heart. It is proof of the sacred bond of motherhood, of the power of love that cannot be erased by anyone. After the graduation ceremony, Emma's life was far from the peaceful one I had hoped for. The moment my son Jack stood on stage and expressed his gratitude to me became a silent storm that shook David and Melissa's family, as well as those around us. In the days following the ceremony, I received numerous calls from friends, colleagues, and acquaintances, all wanting to share in my joy and send congratulations to Jack and me. I felt warmer and more encouraged than ever, but at the same time, tension within my old family resurfaced. Melissa, David's new wife, refused to accept the fact that I remain the only and most important mother in Jack's life. She deliberately tried every way to separate the relationship between me and my son. She controlled every step, every meeting, and at times even restricted Jack from visiting me on weekends. I clearly remember one time when Jack called to tell me that Melissa wouldn't allow him to hang out with me and my friends. I felt a painful tightness in my chest. I knew Jack was being caught in the middle of adult conflicts, which only strengthened my determination to protect our maternal bond. I decided not to stay silent anymore. I contacted David, trying to have an honest conversation to remind him of his responsibilities as a father and, more importantly, about the love between Jack and me that no one has the right to break. But David, after remarrying, seemed to have forgotten the past and did not want to complicate his new life. He was cold and said everything was handled by Melissa, and that I should accept it. Feeling abandoned and isolated overwhelmed me, but I refused to give in. I spent more time with Jack whenever I could, from afternoon walks in the park to simple dinners at home. I wanted Jack to know that no matter what happens, I will always be his safe harbor. But Melissa wasn't willing to let go easily. She began creating situations that painted me as the villain in Jack's eyes. She sent him messages filled with malicious words about me, implying that I was intentionally causing trouble and disturbing his new life. Jack, now an adult, began to feel conflicted and sometimes became distant toward me. I realized that love alone couldn't keep my son. I needed to reveal the truth. I started recording every call, every message related to Melissa's harassment, so that if necessary, I could prove to Jack that my love is real and that I have done nothing wrong. One day, I received a call from Jack's school. His homeroom teacher reported that Jack had recently been falling behind in his studies, his mood unstable, and he was frequently absent. I was deeply worried and immediately called Jack. "Are you okay, Jack?" "Mom notices you've been different lately," I asked gently. He sighed, his voice tired. "I know, Mom. But you don't understand. At home, things aren't easy. Melissa and you don't get along. I don't know what to do." I gripped the phone tightly, feeling the pain in his words. I silently promised myself I wouldn't let anything tear us apart. The next day, I invited Jack to a small cafe outside the city. We sat across from each other, my eyes looked straight into his. "Jack, I want you to understand that no matter what happens, I will always love you unconditionally. I don't want you to suffer from adult pressures, and I will do everything to protect you. But you also need to know you have the right to choose for yourself, and I will respect any decision you make." Jack nodded, a flicker of hope shining in his eyes. "I know you're the only one I can trust. But I want peace. I don't want to hurt anyone." We both sighed, sharing the long-hidden feelings. At that moment, I realized the journey to regain love and trust was not easy, but nothing is impossible. In the following days, I began researching American laws related to custody and parental rights. I knew I needed to equip myself with knowledge to protect my and Jack's rights, especially as Melissa's influence grew stronger. I also joined support groups for single mothers, where I could share, learn from experiences, and find emotional encouragement. Though everything was hard, I was not alone. Jack gradually opened up more to me, and we planned his future together, setting goals for college and exploring his dreams and ambitions. I want him to know that no matter how life changes, Mom will always be a steady foundation. But deep inside, I know this story isn't over. Melissa will not let go easily, and I will face even greater challenges. However, after all, I believe true love, perseverance, and faith will overcome all adversities. After deciding to fiercely protect my maternal bond and my rights, I am beginning a new journey, not only to maintain my relationship with my son but also to reshape my own life. The increasing pressure from Melissa made the relationship between me and David's family even more tense. Every time I wanted to visit Jack, she found ways to make things difficult, canceling appointments, blocking communication, even uttering harsh words in front of Jack. There were times I heard unpleasant rumors spreading at school and in the neighborhood, all stemming from Melissa's hatred and hostility. However, instead of breaking down, I felt I needed to be stronger. I started consulting a lawyer about custody rights and preparing necessary documents in case I had to seek legal intervention. I wanted to ensure that no one could obstruct my son's right to be with his mother and to live in true love. Besides that, I also decided to take better care of myself. The years of being a single mother, burdened with endless worries, made me forget that I too deserve love and respect. I began attending yoga classes, reconnecting with old friends, and even learning new skills to advance my career. I knew that only when I was healthy and confident could I be a solid support for Jack. Jack, caught between two worlds fraught with conflict, gradually matured. He began to understand the difficulties we both had endured. Every time I talked with Jack, we tried to keep honesty and openness. He sometimes expressed confusion and anger, as youth naturally longs for peace without the burdens imposed by adults. One evening, when Jack came to visit me, he shared stories about what was happening at home, about Melissa and the tensions he faced. "Mom, I don't want anyone to hurt you anymore," Jack said, his eyes heavy with sadness. "But I don't know how to make things better." I held Jack's hand gently and said, "Son, I'm not sure what the future holds either. But I believe if we always keep love and sincerity, all hardships will pass. The important thing is you never forget that I'm always here, no matter what." Those words were not only a comfort to Jack but also a reminder to myself. I couldn't live just for my son, I needed to live for myself too, to set an example for Jack and for the days ahead. Meanwhile, Melissa did not give up. She became increasingly aggressive in controlling the family and even Jack. Once, Jack told me that Melissa asked him to stop contacting me for a long time to focus on the new family. I felt heartbroken but could not blame Jack. Was stuck between love for his mother and pressure from the other side of the family. I understood he needed time to find his own path. However, a turning point came when Jack started to change his perspective on the relationship between me and Melissa. He wanted things to no longer be a battle but rather a harmony, so both mothers could accompany him for his benefit. "I don't want you and Melissa to be enemies anymore," Jack said to me during a walk on a small path near home. "I want us to build a family together, even if it's not perfect, but full of love and respect." Hearing this, hope rose in my heart. Perhaps this was a sign that things would get better, that I was not alone in the struggle. Then, I decided to meet Melissa directly, though I still had many doubts and reservations. I wanted to show maturity and goodwill to resolve everything civilly and responsibly. The meeting took place in a quiet cafe. Melissa arrived first, her face cold but seemingly composed. I walked in with a gentle smile. "Hello Melissa, thank you for agreeing to meet with me," I said. She looked at me and nodded. "Emma, I also want to talk to clear things up," Melissa replied. We sat down and began an honest conversation. I spoke about my love and responsibility toward Jack, the hardships I had endured, and my sole wish to build a positive environment together with Melissa for our son. Melissa shared her worries and insecurities about adapting to her new role and feeling like she had to fight to assert herself over the past. The talk wasn't always easy, there were tense moments and sharp words, but in the end, we both realized our shared goal was Jack's happiness and growth. We agreed to try respecting each other, putting Jack's interests above all, and not letting personal conflicts affect him. Leaving the cafe, I felt relieved, as if a great knot had been untied in my heart. This was just the beginning, but at least it opened a new door, the door of understanding and cooperation. I look ahead with optimism, believing that although the road remains challenging, Jack and I will not have to walk it alone. After that first meeting with Melissa, I sensed a subtle shift in the atmosphere between us. Though tensions didn't completely disappear, at least we both began stepping onto a new path marked by greater understanding and respect. Jack also became more comfortable being between his two mothers. He no longer felt torn apart but started finding balance within himself. I have always been grateful to Jack, the mature young man who has bravely endured so many inner struggles and always offered me his sincerest love. One autumn afternoon, when golden leaves carpeted the path leading to my small home, Jack came to visit. He brought a few small gifts he had personally chosen for me: a book, a wildflower bouquet, and a radiant smile. "Mom, I know things haven't been easy," Jack said as he sat beside me. "But I want to thank you for always being there, never letting go." I took his hand, feeling a warm glow inside. "I'm always here, Jack. No matter what happens, I'm your mother, and you're the greatest pride of my life." Time passed, and the conflicts gradually moved toward positive resolutions. Melissa also softened some of her controlling and irritable ways. She realized that although she could never replace my place in Jack's heart, she could be a part of the life he chose if we learned to coexist peacefully. We began attending parent meetings and important events in Jack's life together. For the first time, Melissa and I appeared side by side at an event without obvious tension or disagreement. We talked, exchanged thoughts about Jack's studies and future plans, sharing a common goal. Jack started to reveal his dreams and plans to me. He hoped to attend university to study engineering, a field he's been passionate about since childhood. I helped him seek scholarships, practice interviews, and prepare admission documents. Together, we wrote hopeful new chapters for the future. However, not everything always went smoothly. Personal conflicts sometimes flared, especially when outside pressures weighed heavily. Some members of David's family still refused to accept me, and occasional gossip caused me pain. But I learned to ignore those things and focus on what mattered most: the bond between my son and me. One night, Jack called me late. His voice carried worry. "Mom, something bad happened at school today. Some classmates said bad things about you, saying you caused trouble in my family." I paused, feeling the sadness in his words. "Don't let their words affect you, Jack. I know who I am, and you do too. What matters is that we always keep honesty and love for each other." Jack sighed but spoke with stronger resolve. "I won't let them change me. You taught me to be strong, and I will be." I smiled, proud of the young man growing before my eyes. Amidst the storms, there were peaceful moments watching favorite movies together, cooking simple but cozy meals, or simply sitting side by side, sharing life's little things. Our mother-son love wasn't just built on grand moments but nurtured day by day through small acts. Just when I thought we had overcome many challenges, an unexpected crisis struck. One winter morning, I received a call from the hospital. Jack had been in a car accident on his way to school. Fortunately, it wasn't life-threatening, but he needed to be hospitalized for treatment. I rushed to his side, my heart pounding in endless worry. Seeing Jack lying there, injured but still managing a smile, felt like the world had stopped. Melissa appeared too, her face anxious and confused. For the first time, we looked at each other not with suspicion, but with shared empathy for our son. That moment made us realize that no matter who we are or what conflicts we have, the love we have for Jack is sacred and must come above all else. Our journey is still long, but I believe through these trials, we will find true peace and happiness. The days following Jack's accident were filled with a whirlwind of emotions for me: anxiety, fear, and hope. I didn't leave my son's hospital bedside for a single moment, holding tightly his small hand now wrapped in bandages. Jack's eyes looked at me, tired yet filled with resilience, giving me strength to stay strong. Melissa also appeared frequently at the hospital. She didn't say much, just quietly sat beside the bed with me. For the first time, her presence didn't irritate me. Instead, I felt a silent sharing between two women united by one goal: to protect the health and future of the child they both loved. Day by day, Jack recovered. Though the pain remained, he relentlessly strived to return to normal life as soon as possible. Seeing him stand up and walk around the hospital room felt like the whole world was blossoming. During those days, Melissa and I gradually became more open in communication. We began to talk about things we hadn't had the chance to share before: our worries, life pressures, and the good things each of us wanted for Jack. Though we didn't always agree, at least sincerity started to dissolve the walls between us. Jack noticed this change too. One afternoon, as we sat together on a bench in a nearby park, he said, "Mom, I know there were times you and Melissa didn't get along. But I feel lucky to have both of you in my life." I looked at him, a gentle smile on my lips. "Me too, Jack. I know things aren't always perfect, but what matters is that we keep trying for you." Those words kindled renewed faith within Medhat. Despite all the storms we'd faced, we could still build a new home, a family filled with love. Time passed, and Jack gradually returned to school, continuing his studies and preparing for the future. Melissa and I maintained a cooperative relationship, attending his activities together and supporting him every step of the way. At a year-end parent meeting, seeing Melissa and me standing side by side, exchanging necessary words, I was deeply moved. This wasn't just a change in perception, it was proof of the power of love and perseverance. I also learned much from Melissa about patience, about accepting and opening one's heart to new things. She wasn't perfect and had made mistakes, but what mattered was that she was trying, for Jack and for herself. One day, when Jack graduated from university with honors in engineering, Melissa and I stood together by the stage not as rivals but as companions on the same journey. As Jack stepped up to receive his diploma, he took a moment to look toward me and Melissa, then spoke with pride. "I thank Mom and Melissa who have always been by my side throughout this journey. You have taught me about love, perseverance, and courage." Those words made my heart burst with joy. I glanced at Melissa, who smiled back, her eyes no longer shadowed by rivalry but filled with empathy and respect. Life doesn't always go as planned, but it's the challenges and hardships that have forged the strength and bond in our family. I realized that being a mother isn't just about giving birth, it's about loving, protecting, and walking alongside one's child through every circumstance. And for me, that unforgettable moment, Jack's graduation day, was not only the day my son came of age but also the day Melissa and I began a new chapter of harmony, love, and hope.